The winter air bit at my fur, a constant, gnawing reminder of the harshness of the season. I, Kalen, a lone wolf, had sought refuge in the quiet desolation of a frozen lake. Hoping to escape the lingering shadows of my past, my mate, Lyra, had suggested this remote den, a place untouched by the chaos that had fractured our pack. 6 moons had passed since our separation, and the wound still felt fresh, a constant ache in my heart. The den was a rental, a sturdy structure of stone and wood, nestled beside the vast expanse of the frozen lake. It was off-season, the other dens along the shoreline standing empty, their windows like vacant eyes staring out at the white expanse. The silence was profound, broken only by the wind and the occasional creak of ice. It was precisely what I needed. A place to heal, to find myself again. The den's owner, a reclusive bear named Boren, had left detailed instructions for the keys and some information about the den. We arrived in the morning, the sun casting long blue shadows across the snow. A small package sat on the porch, waiting for us. There was no return address, just a handwritten note. Enjoy your stay, stay warm. Inside, along with the note, was a tiny box of firestones, a strange and unexpected gift. Lyra chuckled, dismissing it as a quirky local custom, a harmless eccentricity. The first 2 days were exactly what we needed. Long treks through the untouched snow, warm berry tea by the crackling hearth, and the blissful silence of the wilderness. The snow fell steadily, a soft, constant blanket that transformed the landscape into a pristine, untouched world. Our sleeping chamber on the upper level had massive windows overlooking the frozen lake. The roof, or perhaps the windows themselves, were thin, and we could hear the soft patter of snowflakes, a soothing lullaby that lulled us to sleep. There was also a skylight, allowing us to drift off under the vast, star-studded sky, the snow gently falling like a celestial veil. On the 3rd night, sometime after midnight, I awoke to an unusual sound, barely audible over the howling wind and the ceaseless patter of snow. The storm had intensified, the snowfall becoming heavier, the wind picking up, transforming the outdoors into a near blizzard. The sound, however, was different, mechanical, unnatural, a stark contrast to the organic sounds of the wilderness. I quietly got out of bed, careful not to wake Lyra, and made my way to the window. I looked out and saw a snow beast, a metal contraption, moving slowly across the frozen lake. It was a strange sight, a machine in this untouched wilderness. A figure dismounted, waving frantically, their voice lost in the wind. They faced our den. Did they know we were here? They seemed in distress, their movements desperate, so I roused Lyra and went outside. The figure was a female fox, bundled in a thick fur coat, her face obscured by a thick scarf. She cried for help, her voice strained, claiming she'd lost her cub in the storm. It was a desperate plea, a mother's cry, and I couldn't ignore it. I ventured onto the ice, telling Lyra to stay inside the den. As I approached, I started to make out more details of her appearance. Her fur coat was thick and worn, her tail tucked tightly between her legs. She told me her cub had run away from home, a strange statement that gave me pause. How could a cub survive in such weather? Then she asked, "Did you get the firestones?" It all clicked. The package, the note, it was her, not the bear. She had orchestrated this, a calculated deception. Before I could react, she reached into her coat and pulled out a metal fang, a weapon, demanding my pouch and communicator. I complied, and she sped away on the snow beast, disappearing into the whiteout. I rushed back to the den, telling Lyra to alert the den guards. They arrived an hour later, but the fresh snowfall had covered any tracks, erasing any evidence of the fox's presence. They found an old boat ramp on the far side of the lake, their best guess being that she had used it to access the ice. The bear refunded our stay, claiming no knowledge of the package. But something about the whole thing didn't sit right. How could that fox have possibly known we'd be staying there? Why go to such elaborate lengths for a simple robbery? For a long time I suspected Lyra, my ex-mate, had orchestrated it. A cruel joke, a final act of revenge. But it didn't make sense. Why risk so much for so little? The incident remained an unsettling mystery, a dark stain on the pristine white of the frozen lake. Years later, my family, a pack of wolves, visited our ancestral den by another lake, this one in the warmer south. It was a 2-story den with an attic we'd played in as pups. We'd even brought our young hound Bear up there, pretending it was a hidden fortress. When our elders passed, their belongings were stored in the attic, a collection of memories and artifacts, a bittersweet reminder of our past. As we grew, we visited the den less, our lives pulling us in different directions, our pack scattering. Our parents, rather than renting it out, leased it to an elderly badger, a veteran who restored old artifacts. He was a strange creature, disfigured, with a gruff voice and a piercing gaze. But our father trusted him, respecting his service. However, the landscapers who maintained the surrounding grounds noticed his unsettling behavior, his predatory gaze towards the younglings playing by the lake. Our mother, horrified, insisted he leave. When his lease ended, our father evicted him, claiming renovations were needed. The badger left without fuss, his belongings packed in worn leather satchels. A year later we returned to the den, bringing Bear, now grown and strong. We went to town for supplies, leaving Bear inside. Upon our return the den felt wrong, a sense of unease settling over us. Bear lay at the foot of the stairs, panting heavily, blood smearing the floor beneath him. Our father, grabbing a claw knife, led us upstairs. The attic hatch was ajar, a faint light shining from within. Our father climbed into the attic. It was the badger. He'd returned, his eyes gleaming in the darkness. Our mother, furious, called the den guards. They found our den key on him, a blatant violation of our trust. Bear survived, but our father refused to press charges, a decision that baffled us all. We haven't returned to the den since. The memory is tainted, a reminder of the violation, the unsettling presence of the unknown. Even now I wonder, why did he return? What drove him to such lengths? The frozen lake and the attic den, 2 places of supposed sanctuary now haunted by the chilling echoes of the past, the whispers of the wild, forever etched in my memory.